Hey everybody, Steven here. So now working again on the concept for the Memorial Museum. So yesterday I was looking at some precedent again. This one here, the Jewish Museum in Berlin, which is about the Holocaust. You might have seen it in my presentations. What I was interested again was the different axes, and I could really see how do you say, like, the colonialism is kind of like the Holocaust. Let me explain. So here you get the Holocaust Tower, axis of exile, and continuity. So if I were to kind of translate that to what I'm doing, okay, let's make a copy of that and change the opacity. Let's say 60%, maybe 40, so I can draw on top of that. And let's get some red. So we've kind of followed the same concept as the Jewish Museum. I'll have the entry here through the old Navy building. They won't go underground. And then I was thinking from here you would have an access to here, which would be the axis of continuity. So maybe the one that talks about Tahitian culture, that will link to the museum above, continuity of culture, and then in between you would have maybe an axis like this, and maybe an axis like that. So this one could be maybe I think in the Jewish Museum that's like the exile. So for me, if I were to think about the nuclear test and what happened, maybe the equivalent would be the experience of the people that went to work in the islands, like in Morurua. So maybe this axis would be about their story, maybe about the things they've done, the thing they've seen, and maybe the thing they felt, and how working there actually impacted their life. And maybe also about the immigrations, because I know when the nuclear testing started, a lot of people from the other island immigrated to Tahiti for work. So maybe axis of immigration and life of workers on Moruroa. And maybe this one will be the axis of the bomb itself. So that would be the equivalent of the Holocaust, about destructions. And so yeah, those would be like the main axis. And I was thinking at the end there'll be like a room where you'd see some type of informations, because that's what the Jewish Museum has, Garden of Exile and the Holocaust Tower, which is more about creating a space that make you feel something rather than telling you a story. So that's something that I'll have to design as well. But like here, for example, I wanted to have a room. What? Because I need to find out what I want to say in this design, but it's gonna be about maybe a secret. So something that's dark, hidden. Yeah, because here it's gonna be all about the nuclear testing, maybe how many tests they've done, the type of installation they built, and here at the end there will be maybe the place where you kind of learn about the secrets or the stuff that is not really talked about, and maybe the danger that's still alive. Like a lot of people was afraid that the radiation that's been what's the word? Well, that's be put into the bedrock will leak one day and then contaminate the environment even more. So maybe about secret, dark, hidden, something that's still alive, something that's active, and that maybe that it's slowly being discovered. So I guess that's the type of space that I'd like to design in here. And this space here, what I was thinking is to maybe have something that represent the experience on the island. So for me, that would be something where you're exposed, open. Because when I was reading some of the testimonies, they were saying people who work there, they didn't wear any protective gear, and some of them have eaten the fish that was in the lagoon after some nuclear testing. So exposed, open, and I guess some knew that they might have been contaminated. And also that they were witnessing something that was bad, but then maybe they were not allowed to tell other people. I'm just trying to find word to describe this. It's really hard, but condemned. Like maybe because they knew that they'll be sick at some point. Or exposed, burned, maybe because of the explosion. I've seen some images of coconut trees who didn't have any palms anymore. They were all burned. Contaminated, burned, poison. Broken. I'm just writing down words that hopefully will inspire me and that I could represent in the architecture. What about far away? Because that's the thing, the island was quite far from Tahiti, so nobody's seen what happened. Also, what about something relating to the bombing and how it created holes, voids. So yeah, what about prison? The fact that they went there and they couldn't say anything, and they were kind of they lost their freedom. Because what I see on this one would kind of be like a space that's open to the sky, but then with like super high walls, feeling like you can't get out, even though it's open, you know that there's no way out for you. So like here there's the road, so if that's the road, and then it will be maybe underground, and you'll have a big wall here that's surrounding you, and maybe something about the water. Either it's gonna be sunk in or raised just like a swimming pool, and then people could go around. And maybe on the walls there'll be names of the people that work there. So maybe that's gonna be like raised. Oops. Like that. And here I'm gonna put some water. So that's gonna be the water. And where's my get some black. Let's see, there's gonna be a person here. And they can either read what's on the wall or maybe stuff in here, and maybe in the water there'll be some type of information as well on the wall. But then you can really see that it's really high, open to the sky. So I guess you wouldn't be able to go there when it's raining, but then yeah, I guess that type of space. So if you were to look at that in 3D, so you get the swimming pool like that, and then that's the side, that's the big wall. That's like the sidewalk. And the people will be here, then walking around and looking at the water. And maybe we could have some type of openings here for people from the outside who's walking by and they could see. And yeah, if I want to have that feeling of prison, maybe I could have like bars there. Oh, maybe it's too much. A bigger window. And just thinking out of way how I can kind of represent the trees, the burnt trees. I think I'm just doing this because it reminds me one of the photo that I took around an army base in Tahiti where they had the barbed wire. Oh yeah, and also this idea of maybe the water here coming out of the basin. And showing that this is still alive. Oh, maybe. It's just some ideas. And for this one, I wanted it to be a dark place, like some secrets, and feel that you're underneath. So like maybe this gonna represent what's happening on the surface, and this is what's happening. Well, that's hidden but still there. So get some black. So this one, it's gonna be, if you do a section, so if you were to cut this along here, it would kind of look like, so I'm starting from this side and go up, and maybe that's the top, and then so you'd be here, you walk in that direction toward the room, then you'll have like a door here, and the room maybe is gonna be like this, like dark. And gonna change the opacity just to show that this is dark. And maybe to give you the feel that you're underneath, maybe I could have some water on top as well. So maybe if you had another pond on top, and then maybe that pond would also go into the room. I mean the water that would drop. So maybe you would have it. This is gonna go over here so you don't get all wet. I mean, you know that type of room where, what are you saying? You know, in the movie, sometimes the people that they're in a boat, the boat's sinking, and they're trapped in a room, the water is filling in. I guess that's the kind of a feeling that I want to create into that room. Give the idea that time is an issue, that you have to act. Otherwise, it's gonna be bad. You might die. And this idea of leaking, something that's getting into you slowly. I guess it would depend on the speed, on how the waters drop, and that it's slowly filling up. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yeah, and then maybe have the light come through in some spots. And maybe have little stuff popping out so that it kind of change the direction of the water. Yeah, I kind of want a little bit of light to come in. Also, I'm thinking to make that room darker. I don't know if it ever happened to you. Let's say you in a room, it's super bright, and then you go into a dark room and you can't see anything. I mean, there's little light, but it takes time for your eyes to kind of adjust to the darkness, and slowly you start to see things. Oh yeah, your eyes adapt. So I guess I'd like to create that sort of feelings in that room as well. So you would look here, informations. Oops. Let's delete that. I guess there'll be like a information about the nuclear testing, and let's close that off, and let's close that off as well. And maybe that room is super bright, so it's gonna be painted white. Da-da-da. So as you go into that room, it'll feel darker, and but then because you get the lights here, you would still see something like slowly. I don't know if I want this space to be kind of open to the sky, like you have a skylight that's gonna come through here. Maybe that'd be a cool idea, like playing with that change of scale. One, it's super high, and then you open the door, you get it to a dark and tiny place, and I guess it would give a good contrast and kind of give you maybe more pressure. So maybe this is gonna be higher. Oops. B for brush. It's gonna be higher. And maybe here you get some type of skylight. And this is gonna be white. I think when you put, oops, you do white, it's gonna be, there's gonna be a lot of reflection. Oops. Make sure it's, oh no, I should have done white and then this, and now I'll just do that. And paint that white too. So here we go from super high to super low, white to dark. And I guess the idea of having super high space, maybe it would show the how big the explosion was. I don't know. I guess it will be, I really want to make an architecture that could be up to any interpretation. Maybe you wouldn't see it that way, but I think that's okay, because I'm thinking that the event that happened in French Polynesia, not everybody would see it the same way. So I guess it's okay to have an architecture that also would have multiple meaning. Let's see if I can do a 3D drawing of that black room. So I'm gonna do like some type of section. And so this is normally should be supposed to be dash, but and on top I guess you would have that pond thing, so maybe, oops, not that straight. And B, tuck, tuck, and you wouldn't see that. And this is supposed to be dark. And this is gonna be the water. And maybe here this is gonna be a gap so the water could come through here as well. There. So and increase the size so the water is going to be all around the edges. And tick, tick. Water and G. I'm just gonna create another layer on top. Paste that. Multiply and change the opacity to as 40. So that would mean that's enter. And oh, forgot to add the door. Oops. Tick. That's the door. We're gonna erase this. And but of course this is continuing, but I'm not showing it because it's a kind of like a drawing section. But what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna change the opacity and draw those lines so you can see the box. So this one's gonna keep going. Oops, not showing anything because I'm on the eraser tool. Of course, change the opacity to 38, and so that's gonna be the door. This is gonna be all the way here. And I'm gonna close that. So that'll be the room. Of course, over that side there'll also be some water that's dripping. And yeah, you would come so that's gonna be the tool room for the axis here. And here at the top you would have the skylight, so the sun's gonna come through here and person's gonna walk through there, and then you're gonna have your door here. I was also thinking to paint that door all white so that when you're here you might not see there's a door, but if you get closer you would start to notice, get interested, and then you get into it. So you'd have white door. So all of this is gonna be white, just like the walls. And you can faintly see. When you do multiply on white, of course, you'll just get it doesn't show. So I guess I just have to change the opacity so you can see a bit of the dark line. Oops, forgot to save. Did I save? design developed. And so I guess what we can have, it's this room here is gonna be dark. Black. And change the opacity to 60, so that's dark. The path to go there, this axis is gonna be white, so it'll be about the bomb. Just gonna put that at the bottom. And this area here should be white as well, because that's open. But maybe the axis talking about the people working there, which I think was they had to keep secret of what they were doing, so maybe this is going to be dark and with a little bit of light, because now the story is getting out. And what about the axis of continuity? What it should be? Maybe this one should be white as well. I mean, because that's the thing that's being told to everybody. But maybe I don't need to be open. Oh, I still have to think about this. But yeah, I guess that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. Kind of the idea that I want to develop. I think in the next stage I really need to think about like a program, the other stuff. I know that the Jewish Museum also has a learning center. Yeah, I know it's getting really similar, but I guess if it's relevant to what I'm doing, I mean, why not? I mean, like the design of each room will be totally different from the Jewish Museum. Just the idea of the axis that's similar, but because I feel they really represent the different event that happen. So maybe I'll do have maybe that learning center here as well. Yep. Something like this. The opacity is down. And I think this is gonna be like a elevator, because normally there'll be some type of staircase to bring people here, and then maybe I'll have an elevator here to bring people there so they can start walking here. And then I think the Jewish Museum, they had like the staircase to go up. And maybe I'll have the another elevator here so people can go directly to the level above. I think that space, well, it's underground, so maybe I don't really need to. And maybe I don't even need to have the learning center underground. Maybe I can have it on the top floor. Yeah, maybe I don't need that here, because otherwise there's gonna be a lot of digging, and don't know where they're gonna put the soil, so maybe not. Okay, well, that's it for today. Let me know what you think about my design idea. I think I'll start to do some more on SketchUp to see how it looks like. But yeah, don't forget to subscribe if you wanna